Hey, sports fans. This is John Kuntz, Athletic Director at Sussex County Community College on the Skylander sports scene on 97.5. Today, my guest is Leah Struble. She's one of our softball players in our program. Welcome to the show, Leah.
Hello, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, we're glad you're here. We're trying to get ready for softball season. I imagine some people out there might think it's a little bit early, but in colleges we start early, so the team's been practicing, has started practice. But let's start with this. Let's have you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you went to high school, what your experience has been in playing softball over the years, and you are a second-year player here for us, so you played softball for us last year. So give us some background information.
Well, I went to Sussex County Technical High School, where I played for Ed Pava. I started there freshman year on the varsity team, and ever since then it was just like a learning experience, and it was a pleasure just to be with all the girls and meet new people that I've never met before, because I've traveled around the East Coast playing softball for different travels teams over the summer, and it was just another experience to add to my list.
All right, that's great. And then you played for us last year.
I did.
And what was that experience like for you? Had a new coach last year, and A.J. Agnor, who's a teacher over in the Sparta School District. He was a high school coach at Cedar Grove who won a state championship when he was there. So he was hired last year, was a first-year coach, and it was your first year playing for us. So what was that experience like?
It was actually really nice because coming from another school, I was just like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I knew AJ for my whole entire life. Like he knew when I was born. So like it was like just a pleasure to like play for him, and I just wanted to give it all and give it my best for him.
Yeah, AJ's done a great job for us in the short time that he's been here. I think he's getting the softball program on track. Last year was obviously a learning experience for him as well as all the other players, getting used to him being a new coach. But I've seen some good things occurring with the softball program over the last year and a half. And now you're into your second year. AJ's into his second year. Started practice a couple of weeks ago. How has practice been going for the Lady Skylanders?
It's a big turnaround from last year because we have a good group of girls, both on and off the field, who are willing to put 110%. We'll have practice, and the girls will be like, oh, let's go to the gym after. So it's a complete turnaround from last year, and I'm really excited to see where it takes us.
That's good to hear. I know the numbers are better, so the roster's larger this year. We're practicing now with some snow on the ground, but that's okay. That'll be gone. That'll be gone soon. What about some of the other girls on the team, your teammates? There's probably a couple from last year. There's some obviously a lot of new people in the program. What have you observed so far in practice with your teammates?
I just think that we all bond together, and that's such a good thing to have with a team, because you can have a bunch of great athletes. You can recruit them for all over the county, all over the world even. And if they don't like each other, then they're not going to be willing to put it all on the line for each other. So I think we really have a good bond this year, and I think that's definitely a key.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's certainly one of those intangibles. You need to have some skill, to play the game, but you also have to get along, like one another, and it kind of makes it more fun, and probably leads to a more successful program. Let's talk a little bit about you. What position do you play?
Well, I played third last season here, and I'm probably going to play shortstop this year.
Okay. And have you played both of those positions in the past, or have you played other positions as well?
I have.
Okay. I'm sure playing under Ed Pavia. I know Ed. He's a great guy.
He is.
And I think he's an excellent coach. And he probably tried to take advantage of your talents wherever you're needed. So what are the differences going to be between playing third base and shortstop for you?
It's just going to be like majorly reading the ball off the bat, because at third base it's a lot closer, obviously. So the ball comes off the bat differently, and it's more of a stationary position, in my opinion. Whereas shortstop, you have to have that range to cover from second base to third. So it's just going to be like getting used to that, reading it off the bat.
Yeah. when you play third base is kind of like a reaction position. You
Yeah,
know,
it
'cause
is.
the ball gets on you really, really quick, you know, and you got to be able to react to it. Where shortstop, you know, sometimes you have a little bit more time to, like you say, read the ball off the bat and be able to make the play, but you still got to have some range to be able to go into the hole or up the middle, you know, to snag balls
Definitely,
there.
definitely.
What about the throw across the diamond? How does that change for you? You know, third base a little bit shorter, shortstop, you know, if you have to go into the hole, you got to make the long throw. What kind of adjustment do you have to make with that?
Well, with third base, when you're playing and you feel the ball, you have a few steps because the ball comes off the bat so fast that you do have that time, that extra few seconds where you can take your time, gather yourself, and throw the ball. Whereas shortstop, you're going to be competing against good teams that have fast players. So you have to get that ball, exchange it quickly, and make the throw. So it's just you have to go. It's faster.
Yeah, and it has to be an accurate
In
throw.
that, in that aspect, yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes your first baseman can help you out a little bit, you know, if they can scoop the ball or stretch or have to come off the bag to make the tag and so on and so forth. So there are some differences, obviously, between those two positions of third base and shortstop. What about the hitting aspect now? Last year was your first year competing in Region 19, the league that we play in. Played, you know, a number of the two-year colleges in the state of New Jersey, some very good teams that you faced, and obviously some very good pitchers. What was the hitting like for you last year? Was there a big adjustment between high school and the two-year college?
Okay, well, in high school, we played really good teams like Butler, who had Spellman, and she was definitely a hard pitcher to go against. So, like, it's not new to me personally that I've seen amazing players out there, because like I said before, I've played all up and down the East Coast with different travel teams. But I think for other players last year, it was hard because their experience might have only been a few years for rec ball and then some for high school. So, but I think that this year, it definitely is a turnaround because you could see the difference in the bats for sure.
No, that's a good thing. Yeah, because obviously pitching is a huge aspect in the game of softball. And if you have a pitcher who can dominate a little bit and be around the plate all the time and have a couple of different pitches to go through besides besides the velocity of the ball, makes, you know, pretty much all the difference in the world. I'm sure we faced pitchers in the past who were just trying to get the ball over the plate, and then there were pitchers that you faced who were true pitchers, you know,
Definitely.
who changed speeds on you and tried to pinpoint the ball, you know, inside and outside. So pitching is certainly a big aspect of the game. Do we have a good pitcher this year? Do we have a good pitching staff? Do you think?
I definitely think that we do. According with like the coach too, she's really been helping our pitchers out, and like they have all different types of pitches, like fastball, changeup, curve, so they can throw the ball and they can change the speed up. So it's really good to have because it won't just be relying on our defense and our offense, like trying to struggle through the game to try to pick our pitcher back up, because our pitcher will definitely be helping us this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned we actually have a pitching coach this year designated just to work with our pitchers. AJ brought in Bridget Winay to help with our pitchers, to concentrate on that aspect of the game. So that's certainly going to add something to the Lady Skylanders.
Oh, it is.
You know, it frees up AJ, you know, to work in other aspects of the game, and Bridget to concentrate on the pitchers. And in addition to that, AJ has another assistant, Jamie Lee Smith, who is working, I'm assuming, with all the players on hitting and fielding and so on and so forth. So we have enhanced our coaching staff this year. How do you feel about that?
I actually am very ecstatic about it because both the coaches are phenomenal. Like Bridget, yes, she is a pitching coach, but she also goes around and tells us how to, like, proper stretches and, like, ways to throw the ball in the outfield. Like, so it's not just they're helping with one thing. They're girls with clear experience of the game that have so much to offer the program, and I think that's just beyond words.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jamie came out of the Stroudsburg area. She played at East Stroudsburg University. She was a captain on that team, so she brings that experience to us. Bridget has been working with pitchers and involved in softball and town teams and things of that nature for a number of years, so she brings that aspect to us. And then, head coach AJ, very knowledgeable softball person, and his experience in winning a state championship, and working with women in softball is certainly an excellent aspect to us. Let's talk a little bit about the game schedule for the coming season. Now, I know AJ tried to improve it a little bit or enhance it. This year we will be returning to Maryland to open our season, a 2-day trip. Going to play 2 doubleheaders against Anne Arundel Community College and Montgomery Community College in Rockville, Maryland. So that'll be a new experience for the Skylanders. The last few years we have not made a trip south. This will occur during your spring break. So I imagine you guys are looking forward to that and kind of have those dates circled on your calendar?
We definitely do. We're looking ahead and we're planning, and we're just really excited that we get to use that time also as, again, to bond, because I think that this team has such potential of being like a close-knit group that we can take that forward into years to come, and I think it starts now.
Yeah, and I think that trip will certainly be good. Like you said, that'll be a bonding experience for our team. Hopefully get down there where the weather will be a little bit better than up here at that time in mid-March, and kick off our season. From there, the usual 2-year community colleges, Bergen, Cumberland, Middlesex, Luzerne out in Pennsylvania, Northampton always has a good team, Brookdale, Rowan College at Gloucester County always has a good team. What was the competition like? Did it that you faced last year when you saw a team like Brookdale or a team like the Gloucester girls, who are perennial champions? Both of those teams have been fighting for the championship over the last 10 years, I would say. What was your experience when you faced those teams?
With the team that we had last year, it definitely was a struggle. But if you take the experience from last year, and I can't say what their team's like now,
Right.
but I definitely think that we have a good chance to compete with them this year.
To compete with the
I definitely do.
top-tier teams.
I do.
Good.
I do, because some of the games were really close, and then we would just fall apart at the end.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, I really think that we have a team that can withstand the whole 7 innings, even more.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd certainly like to see that, and I'm sure you would. And so would the coaching staff, to jump into that top tier of teams, which perennial has been, like we mentioned, Rowan College at Gloucester County and Brookdale and Northampton Community College. If we can run with them, and hang with them, that'll certainly be a big jump for the Lady Skylanders. Along with that, we'll be playing the County College of Morris, rival of ours. Some of the other teams like Ocean County and Camden County College as well. But like you said, every year can be different. You don't know what the other team's going to have. I've seen teams in the past who the previous year looked very, very poor, and in 1 year made this huge turnaround, which is what we're hoping to do this year.
Definitely,
and maybe sneak up on some people, early on before they find out that, hey, Skylanders got something going there. So hopefully that will come to pass. You're listening to WRSK 97.5, the Cruisin' Oldies station, and the Skylander sports scene. I'm John Kuntz. My guest today is Leah Struble, a member of our women's softball program here at Sussex County Community College, and we're talking about softball and getting ready for the 2018 season. Let's talk a little bit about your experience here at the college outside of softball. You transferred in. Attended here last year. What has the academic part of it been like? What has the student life part of it been like outside of softball for you?
I've honestly had the privilege of working at different events in the school with different staff as well as students, and I can honestly say that it's definitely one of the best experiences that I've had, and I'm I'm thrilled that I made the choice to come here from a different college just because of how much more it definitely brought into my life.
Well, that's great. I think your a college experience is more than, going to class or playing on an athletic team. I think it's the whole experience, and we've always encouraged students and student athletes to get involved in different types of things, whether it's in campus life with student government or being a student ambassador or whatever it may be, volunteering and helping out at events like yourself. So what are you studying, and what's your favorite area, your favorite courses that you've had here at Sussex?
Well, I'm majoring in criminal justice, and honestly, like everything in that field interests me. And some of my favorite courses, I actually enjoyed my history classes here. I actually did enjoy them.
Okay.
But with my major, I had the privilege of being a student to Professor Cooney and McGovern, and they are phenomenal teachers, and they'll help you out with anything, and they are like a parent to you almost, so you feel comfortable going to them. And that's like a lot of the staff here, like you feel comfortable just like saying like, hey, I need something, and they're not gonna like turn you away.
I had Bill McGovern on the show a couple of weeks ago. I interviewed him, and we were talking about the criminal justice program and all the things that he does and Professor Cooney does for the students, not just in the classroom, but trying to get them involved in other things, fundraisers or clothing drives or things of that nature. And I think that's really great. And of course, the criminal justice field there's so many things that you can do with it. Besides when you say that, people think police officer. But there are other things. So is there certain things that you're looking at in the criminal justice program down the line?
Well, right now I'm kind of undecided because it is again so broad. But like different stuff, like the new digital cybersecurity, like that's pretty interesting too, and it's definitely upcoming, and there's going to be a lot of jobs for that. So that's a field of interest that I'm looking into.
That does sound interesting. A lot of different aspects of criminal justice that you can get involved in. So why, when the decision came for you, did you decide to come here to Sussex County Community College?
Okay, so that's an interesting story. So Coach and my sister, who previously coached here, they still keep in contact, and Coach Agnor contacted my sister, and she's just like, hey, like, what about your sister? Is she willing to come and play? And my sister's like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, so that definitely was a determining factor for why I switched over here, because I knew what an amazing person that he was. So I was talking to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't know if I should go to Sussex, like, again, because it's the stigma of us just being a community college.
Right.
And at the end of the conversation, my mom goes, it looks like you already made up your mind. And just from there, I knew, I'm like, I'm going to Sussex. And I never turned back. It's been an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I think Sussex, for a lot of students that I've talked to and student athletes, is sometimes a second home. And like you mentioned earlier, the people here who work here, the staff, the professors, the administrators, all want to see the students succeed and are willing to go that extra mile for the students and willing to help them in whatever they need. So that, I think that's why Sussex is such a good place to start your college career. All right, let's get back to softball a little bit now. Do you have any individual goals for the upcoming season? Do you have in your mind any team goals? Have the players talked about it, or the coaches? I know it's early yet, but what are some of the goals that this team might be able to achieve in the 2018 season?
Okay, well, my individual goal would just to become overall just better with hitting and fielding, but I don't really like to talk about myself that much, so I'll go to the team.
All right, let's talk about the team.
I just think we have high aspirations on where we're going, and we're working extremely hard, harder than we definitely did last year. Girls that show up half an hour early before practice, and we're waiting around, or they'll go to the gym before and after practice. So I just think that everybody generally just wants to get better, not only for themselves, but for those around them, so that we can just continue to succeed together.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You know, every day you step out, you try and improve, you know, some aspect of the game, make those little improvements, and maybe there'll be a playoff possibility for the Lady Skylanders.
Yeah.
That would be really nice. Huh?
It definitely would be. It's
Right.
just about critiquing the little things, like moving your foot half an inch off the bag to the right when you're turning a double play to make it go 2 seconds faster to get the girl out at first. So
Yeah.
it's just little things.
Yep. Absolutely, and hoping that the Skylanders will make that run in the playoffs, and that would be great to see. What about what are your strengths? Do you think in softball, and what do you need to work on in softball? What's been your aspect that you've worked on? You know, these first few weeks of this particular preseason.
Well, this preseason, I've definitely been working on my fielding. Just watching the ball off the bat is just like the most crucial thing out there. But even with hitting, like T-work, don't underestimate T-work because it, like, people look at it and laugh like, oh, T's again. But, like, it comes back to basic mechanics and muscle movement, and you need those things when you look back. Like, oh, like, the T-work definitely helped. It helped me last year. I got into a huge hitting slump, used the T's all preseason, and then when season came, I wasn't the same person.
Yeah, those drills that you need to do in the preseason, sometime it can be a little monotonous, but they're extremely important. You
They're
know,
worth it.
working off the tee or soft toss or fielding ground ball after ground ball, seeing the ball off the bat, like you say, is extremely important, and hopefully will pay off down the line. What are your strengths? Are you a slap hitter, or what's your approach when you go to the plate?
Well, it also depends on the scenario because softball is just a scenario-based game. And it's just whatever coach tells me to do. If he needs me to lay down that bunt, I'm going to do everything that I can to lay that bunt down to get the girl over, to score the run. It's just, again, looking at the scenario and seeing what coach wants me to do.
Yep, depends on who's on base, if anybody's on base, what the count is. You know,
Yeah.
so you answered that question very well. You know, if it's a 2-strike count, well, then you know you kind of got to protect things.
Because I've
know.
been in definitely tight situations where Pava in high school will look at me and say, like, we need this run. I need you to lay a bunt down with 2 strikes on you or something, and you have to get it down, because if you don't, then it's just a moment where, like, you got to do it or not. It's the turning point, really.
Yeah. Well, sports fans, you're listening to the Skylander Sports Scene on 97.5 WRSK, broadcasting from Sussex County Community College. My guest today is Leah Struble, a member of our softball program. And before we continue the interview, I just wanted to give a shout out to Bob Hopkins, old friend of mine who brought swimming to the county many years ago when he was coaching at Pope John and I was coaching at Pope John. Bob is even to this day a dedicated swimmer and has done an awful lot for that sport. Coached at Pope John for a number of years until Ed Wynn took over, and they both were very successful. So I hope you're enjoying the show, Bob. Now back to Leah Struble, member of our softball team here at Sussex County Community College. Next question I want to ask you is, what would you tell a softball recruit about the possibility of coming here, or why they should come here to continue their college career and play softball for AJ?
Well, if I was sitting down with them, I would just look them in the eye and I would just say, like, do you know what you want to do, and that's something you want to do for the rest of your life? And if they go, I'm not sure, then I'd say, why would you want to go to a 4-year school and waste thousands of dollars when you can start here at Sussex and get the same experience? But with a 4-year school, you're probably not going to get that close-knit relationship with your teachers because there's 400 kids in the class. Whereas here, there might be 25 kids in the class, and your teacher will make that time for you. And it helps with your experience. As a character, it helps it grow. It makes you grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think great place to start. Right. Start here, go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of students from the county over the years have taken us up on that, and it's been a great experience for them. I mean, we've also branched out a little bit in our recruitment, and have been recruiting players in some sports internationally, from other countries, from outside the area. How do you think something like that helps a program when you come across other people that you don't know, you haven't met before, or you haven't seen them in high school or competed against them in high school?
I think that it's just amazing that you get to meet people from different countries because they have totally different experiences than what we know here. We have a girl, Peyton, on our softball team from Australia, and it's amazing because some of the things that are normal to us, she looks at us like we're crazy, and then she'll start saying something and we'll be like, "What'd you say?" And she'll be like, "Oh, don't you guys say that here in America? We say that all the time." In Australia, and we're like, "No," and we all laugh, and it's a good time, and it's awesome because you get to see what softball is like over there and how different they may approach it, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. It is kind of neat, it enhances things, you get to experience, the way things are said differently, the cultures, the food, the dress, all of that. So it's good. I certainly wish Peyton luck, and I'm sure that she's been accepted like any other student athlete
definitely.
here at Sussex County Community College. So as we wind down here, Leah, what about the future? Are you gonna? We talked a little bit about criminal justice as to what you're majoring in. This will be your second year of eligibility playing softball here at Sussex. So after this particular season, unfortunately, your eligibility at the 2-year college will be done. What are your plans for next year and beyond?
Well, I just hope that I can get into a 4-year college that I like, and maybe continue playing softball there. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, kind of thing. But I hope to continue my future, and I'll always look back on these times and know that that's what got me through to 4-year college and helped me out greatly.
Oh, good. I mean, I wish you a lot of luck with that. I hope the decision will come easy when it's time to be made as to what your future will hold, and getting into a 4-year college and possibly playing softball. And I want to thank you for being with me today and talking about the 2018 Lady Skylander softball program.
Well, I wanted to thank you for having me, too. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. You've been listening to 97.5 WRSK and the Skylander Sports Scene, broadcasting from Sussex County Community College. We'll catch you next time.